industry at Currency, a Sandhills Global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
Mike, the insurance company wants us to replace the roof.
Wait, what? I thought everything was fine.
Yeah, it says right here our roof is too old and they won't be able to cover us anymore.
I guess it is 15 years old. Hi, I'm Austin with Roofing Service Company. We help homeowners with their roofing and siding projects. Financing options are available, and we can get you under a new roof no time at all. If this sounds like you, visit roofingservicecompany.com. That is roofingservicecompany.com.
Winter is just around the corner. Is your vehicle ready? Don't get left out in the cold. At A1 Automotive, we prep your car for whatever winter throws your way here in Nebraska. For battery checks, brake inspections, tires, heaters, whatever your car needs to keep you and your family safe on the road, we've got you covered. A1 Automotive, always honest answers.
Your Christmas list changes a lot as you get older. Dreams of video games, remote-controlled cars, and baseball gloves turn into dreams of shoes. You know, practical things. Brown's Shoe Fit is the king of shoes in Lincoln, with brands like Sorel, UGG, Brooks, Hoka, and more to make you fashionable and comfortable. Grab a new Ridge wallet or buy 3 get 1 free on Smart Wool socks for the ultimate stocking stuffer. And don't forget a reliable gift card for that hard-to-buy-for person in your life. Brown's Shoe Fit at 66th and Q in Lincoln.
Are you tired of your usual barbershop experience? Stop into Scissors and Scotch today. I know what you're thinking. Drink during a haircut? Don't worry. First comes the precision cut from one of their experienced barbers, followed by your complimentary cocktail in their upscale lounge. Scissors and Scotch blends your old school barber feel with your favorite watering hole. And now you can earn $10 off by simply mentioning the ticket. And if you're an existing member, still mention the ticket for an exclusive offer. Offer valid at Lincoln location only. Scissors and Scotch, located just south of 30th and Yankee Hill, and online at lincoln.scissorscotch.com.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet, KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Nutrition Authority invites you to check out the all-new Epic Effects. Epic Effects is designed to blast body fat, curb cravings, and provide the smooth energy to get you through the day. Home of free samples and better than internet pricing, Epic Effects can only be found at Nutrition Authority. For store info, visit mynutritionauthority.com.
Rain, snow, or shine, John Henry's is here to keep your home's plumbing systems working properly no matter what kind of weather Nebraska throws at us. From unclogging toilets and drains to installing new water heaters and water treatment systems, John Henry's is your plumbing expert in the Lincoln and Omaha communities. Visit us at calljh.com or call John Henry's.
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating and Air,
and Electrical.
This is your year to win way more than bragging rights. At Warhorse Casino, your love of the game could earn you serious cash. The Pro Football Frenzy is free to play with cash prizes all season long, like up to $1,000 weekly, with your chance at $1 million, all while earning tier points and comp points every time you place a sports bet. Only at Warhorse Casino. Wagers may only be placed on Nebraska-based teams when played outside the state of Nebraska. Must be 21 or older to gamble. Gambling problem? Call 1-833-BET-OVER.
Have you heard about Advanced Medical Imaging Surgery Center? Located at 7555 Pioneers Boulevard, Advanced Medical Imaging Surgery Center offers compassionate, patient-focused care and provides outpatient surgery services, making it possible to have non-emergency surgery and return home the same day. Advanced Medical Imaging Surgery Center specializes in cardiology, vascular radiology, orthopedics, pain management, and much, much more. Give them a call today at 402-261-1085 or online at amimaging.com.
Concrete Industries has immediate job openings for precast production laborers and maintenance technicians. Concrete Industries offers great pay, health benefits, 401k, a wellness program, holidays, and paid time off. Apply today to earn a starting pay of $21.50 per hour plus a $1,500 hiring bonus. Concrete Industries is hiring all experience levels and offers on-the-job training. Start your career today as a precast production laborer or maintenance technician. Visit concreteindustries.com.
This is the Adam Carriker Show.
Position right of the quarterback, out of the shotgun, 1st and 20. Jailbreak screen in the air. It is tipped. It is intercepted by Carriker at the Missouri 21-yard line.
Live from the heart of Lincoln, America, 8-year NFL vet and All-American defensive lineman Adam Carriker.
Shotgun snap to Everidge. He's got the left arm going, and now he's got a whole lot of Adam Carriker who rips him down inside the 25-yard line.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here is your host, Adam Carriker.
One more time. Today I've got so much to be thankful for. I woke up this morning thinking, thank you, Lord, giving me everything I could ever need.
Ladies and gentlemen, I requested Jake intro the show with that song. Can you play it again real quick? We just need some peace, some happiness. This guy might be falling chicken little, but we need some peace and some things to be thankful for here in the great state of Nebraska because there's so much to be thankful for. I got to be honest, I kind of like the song. It hit my soul the right way this morning. Can we hear it one more time, Jake?
One more time. Today I've got so much to be thankful for. I woke up this morning thinking, thank you, Lord, giving me everything I could ever need.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome into the Adam Carriker Show. There is so much going on, so much to talk about. Husker sports, mostly Nebraska football, is like a daytime soap opera. They still have those on TV. I assume they do. Days of Our Lives.
So, yeah. All My Children.
The Young and the Restless.
General Hospital.
Wow, we sound like experts. This is the new topic of the show going forward. Okay, true story. So like 30 years, what was it? It's 2025. This is like 91, 92. So I have half siblings all over the place. So I had a half sister who'd come live with us for 1 month out of every summer. All right. And she was a teenage girl while I was like entering like 5th grade or 6th grade. And she got big into Young and the Restless. So like 91, 92, she would watch it every day. My parents would be gone. It'd just be me and her. She's supposed to babysit me. So for about 6 months, I got into Young and the Restless as like a 12-year-old. And then at one point, I think it was around Christmas time because she'd been gone for a while, went back to school. And I was like, why am I still watching this? I'm not that interested in this anymore. It was like I was watching, I was interested, but I think I was interested because of her. And then I kind of got interested, and then I watched it out of loyalty. I'm like, well, I'm not watching this for 6 more months just to watch it with her again next summer. So I eventually did move on. But yeah, it was about a 6-month span where I was watching Young and the Restless as much as I could. Obviously, I had to go to school and stuff. But all right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome into the Adam Carriker Show. Show that gives you unique insight and bridled honesty. And producer Jake and I have a whole lot of fun in the process. Talk about the most random things you've ever heard of under God's hot sun, if you couldn't already tell. All right, you're going to hear college football. I got off the rails. Husker sports, college football, and sports in general. We're going to give away some free stuff today. Is that right, Jake?
That's correct.
Jake's going to give away free stuff. Everybody love Jake. Everybody love Jake. He gives away free stuff.
Yes.
All right. We're going to do that at the end of the show. Lots to talk about. Troy Danning had an interesting interview. TJ LATEEF, I mean, right now it's our starting quarterback. He's not practicing in practice full go. He's doing some individual stuff, doing stuff on the side on his own as well. Not going full go in the team stuff. You could tell in Holgerson's press conference, he was kind of like, oh, it is what it is. But at the same time, like a hamstring is something that can be nagging for a long time. It is something that can be re-aggravated so quickly, so easily. Like ankles, hamstrings. I think those would be the two things that are like the easiest to tweak and can be some of the most nagging injuries that you can have. So obviously we got some time here. You want to get him reps. You want to get him development. You want to get him better. You also need him to be healthy to play in the bowl game. So they're walking a little bit of that fine line. I would assume that once we get out to Vegas here in the next week or so, the team does, he's going to start doing a lot more of those team rep things because he probably could be going full go right now, but you're kind of risking it. You're kind of risking it a little bit. Is it worth the risk? Probably not. Risk it for the biscuit. Probably the biscuit isn't worth the risk it right now. But once they get out to Vegas, it'll be a little bit healthier, a little bit more full go. Hopefully he can do everything in the team periods, full practice-wise at that point. But it's time. the whole Dylan Raiola thing. All right, so it's time to look forward. It's time to look ahead. And I think it's time we talk about TJ LaTeef. You can talk about Dylan, and yeah, I think he's on a visit right now at Louisville, and he had a 6-9 record in the Big Ten. And I mean, you can talk about, he unfollowed everything Nebraska related under God's hot son on social media. Take that for what it's worth. I personally think it is very, very telling, and we can do all these things, or we can focus on going forward, what we know. We can speculate on a few things. I talked about some quarterbacks the other day that Nebraska might be interested in the portal. You hear some other quarterbacks like Kentucky quarterback Stone Saunders, who had legit interest in Nebraska coming out of high school. That's a guy pretty highly thought of. I don't know that he'd be the best fit for Nebraska at this point, but honestly, you never know what can happen as well. All right, I'm getting to Sam. Sam Levitt's a guy that a lot of people bring up to me, kind of like Brendan Sorsby of Cincinnati. They're literally 1 and 2 in the transfer portal rankings, depending on which ranking service you look at. Number 1 quarterback, number 2 quarterback in the entire portal. Once it officially opens, Sam was a guy, I don't know if you know this, at one point he was legit interested in Nebraska a few years ago. At this point, I don't know how that works out. It kind of depends on the approach that they want to take, the approach they want to take with TJ, how TJ looks in the bowl game, how that affects what they do come January. Although, let's be honest, the bowl game is December 31st. You can't be waiting until the night of December 31st to figure out what you want to do January 2nd. You got to have a pretty good plan in place. All right. There was one other name I was going to... Oh, there it is. What do you think of this name? Breaking as of not long ago, earlier this morning, Missouri quarterback, former Penn State quarterback, has won Power 4 conference games in the Big Ten and the SEC on the road as a starting quarterback in the Big Ten at Penn State and at Missouri this past year. Bo Pribula plans to enter the transfer portal. That is an intriguing name. That's a guy who can make plays with his feet and his arm. That's a guy with experience. That's a guy... Is he a junior or senior? Can you look that up real quick? I want to say he's got 1 year of eligibility left.
Oh, yeah. He's got 1 more year. He was listed as a senior this past year, so he must...
Yeah, that's confusing.
Yeah.
I've looked up a few guys and it says senior, and then it says they're like going to play next year. I'm like, how does this work? Seriously, is the eligibility just never ending at this point? Like, what is this? Do we now have to put senior 1, senior 2, as in, I don't even know what that would mean. Just extending college careers. I'm half jealous and half confused. I'm not going to lie. But that's the guy who would be intriguing. And that's kind of going to lead into the TJ LaTeef talk just a little bit, how they approach it, how they want to do this. What are they looking at? What are the guys they're looking at in the portal? As of right now, we know for sure we have 2 scholarship. Well, we don't know jack diddly squat for sure. We believe we have 2 scholarship quarterbacks coming back next year. TJ LaTeef, Marcos Davia. Right now, that's what we believe is probably going to happen. Again, wait 5 minutes. The world could completely change. Jake could turn on Young and the Restless, and I could start singing soul music in the middle of this show for all we know. We need to bring in somebody from the portal regardless, because you have to have more than 2 quarterbacks. Plus, Marcos would legit be going from 4th to 2nd. Maybe that's an appropriate jump. Maybe he's ready to start competing for the starting quarterback job. He's starting to get reps in practice, meaningful reps that he's never really gotten before. Now, is that because you had Dylan and you had TJ and you had Jalen, and there's only so many meaningful reps to have? Now, I know they like to go 3 groups in practice. I've literally watched 3 different fields going with 3 different offenses and defense going at once. So is the 4th guy just, hey, you're the first guy out, unfortunately? Or is it because he wasn't ready to take meaningful reps? We don't know that. 4-star, highly sought after, coming out of high school, transfers from Purdue to here. How does he factor into this? Either way, you can't walk in with two scholarly quarterbacks next year. You got to have at least 3. Well, that's the bare minimum. You need depth, injuries, things happen. So we're going to talk about TJ LaTeef today. We're also going to play some interesting statements from Troy Dannon. Basically, everyone has admitted that the last 2 games was an embarrassment. It was a failure. I mean, you've got Phil Snow's press conference last Friday was as telling as it gets. Like, kids didn't even know the call. People didn't know what they were doing. And he says a reflection of what happens on the field is a direct reflection of the coaching. So we're going to play that. Also, Joe Klatt thinks that the NCAA tournament is a joke. Do you think it's a joke? The NCAA basketball tournament is a joke.
I wouldn't say it's a joke. It definitely is an all-inviting tournament for teams to compete for national championship.
He made the point that I've thought for years. When people are like, well, the NCAA tournament lets 68 teams in. Why don't we? I've always had the mindset, the NCAA tournament does not even come close to finding a true national champion. It is the worst way to find a true national champion. It is also the most entertaining way to crown a national champion. So what is your goal? Is your goal to be incredibly entertaining for 4 weekends and nobody gives 2 cents to this side of a monkey's rear end about your regular season because it does not matter? The only basketball teams that I watch on a consistent basis are Nebraska men's and women's basketball teams. I used to tune in to North Carolina and Duke when they'd play, not anymore. By the way, did you see, like, if the NCAA tournament was to start right now, Nebraska would be a 3 seed? Did you see that at all?
Yeah, and I'm a little bit offended. They're undefeated. Why wouldn't they be a 1 seed?
Okay, here I was happy, and here you are, bad news balking all over the place. I'm not going to lie. What kind of also made me happy was that Duke and North Carolina would be 4 seeds. I was like, look at that. We're better than Duke and North Carolina basketball. It's December. But don't let facts get in the way of a good story, Jake. So we need to figure out what we're going to do on multiple levels. So we're going to chat about that. I think a guy like Bo Pribula, because one of the concerns is, well, how do you keep TJ? If you bring in a bona fide starter, does TJ want to hang around? I think there's an easy answer to that. It's why I asked if Bo was a senior or a junior. Because if TJ transfers somewhere else, I don't think he's going to walk in the door as the starter. Just like he's not the clear-cut starter here. After UCLA, man, we were all feeling some kind of way. Penn State, Iowa, the whole entire thing goes sideways for everybody involved. Obviously, TJ gets the hamstring hurt versus Iowa. He can't use his legs. He doesn't pull himself out, which I admire and respect. But I don't think it was like, all right, this guy's a definite starter. So if he goes somewhere else, is he a definite starter? Not if it's power 4, probably. Now, do I think this guy's ceiling is through the roof? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. And in fact, I've started to state, and this is before Dylan hit the portal, so this is in no way, shape, or form me afterwards, oh, he's better than... No. I started to state before that his floor was lower than Dylan. I think his ceiling is higher as well. I do. I know Dylan has first-round talent. I know he has, he's a 5-star and all that. I also... mental makeup is something they don't really factor in when they're factoring these things in. I think there's too many things going on in his head, which is why he doesn't throw the ball deep and he completes a high percentage of his passes, which is going to help him fall into the game manager thing. That's not to say he can't be a high draft pick, play really well, be up for national awards next year. I just don't think his ceiling is higher than TJ's. TJ's floor is also lower right now. I can look at Dylan and also be like, his floor is pretty high. I just don't think his ceiling's as high as I once thought because of the mental makeup and everything that goes into that. At some point, you got to fight, scratch, and claw and be willing to take some risks. Can you read between the lines of what I just said, Jake? Is it pretty obvious? Do I need to dive more into that?
Yeah, dive more into it. I want to know.
You can't have everything handed to you on a silver platter all the time. At some point, you're going to have to fight, scratch, and claw, and that opposing defense isn't going to hand you a silver spoon in the middle of a game. Does that make sense?
That makes sense.
There.
Yeah,
Is that more clear?
Bit, yeah.
I keep going to this ad read because I want to shout out our good friends, and then I keep getting distracted. But we got good sponsors, good partners of this show, and I want to give a shout out to Culligan. All right, it's a former Husker and NFL player. As you know, I'm a bit of a health nut. Hydration recovery, they do start at home. That's why you should team up with Culligan of Lincoln. Soft water means better showers, cleaner dishes, and it protects your water heater and appliances. Their high-efficiency softener cuts salt and water usage. For drinking, make sure you add a Culligan reverse osmosis. It's like bottled quality water right at your tap. Great taste, and it's certified to reduce tough contaminants like lead and PFAs. Right now, through the end of December, it's the $500 Dead or Alive promo. If you have a water system and buy a new Culligan system to replace it, you'll get $500 off the new softener. That's all the way through December 31st. Culligan of Lincoln, ladies and gentlemen, why do you love a Go Big Red? Limited time offer. Participating dealers. Restrictions may apply. All right. So there's multiple ways you can do this. When it comes to TJ LATEEF, you can say, hey, all right, he's got a high ceiling. If we trust ourselves to develop him, boom. He can at least be an average starter. Yes, he'll make some young mistakes. Yes, he'll blow our minds with some great plays. But somewhere in the median will be an average starter. And then, man, we can really develop him going forward after that. Or maybe you think he's a clear-cut starter, depending on how confident you are. I'm looking at this from the university's perspective at developing TJ LATEEF. If that's the case, all that money you're talking about, we need to bring in a running back, by the way. If not two, we'll see how Isaiah Mosey looks in the bowl game. They have not shown a lot of confidence in the other running backs in that room. They just have not. I mean, they just haven't. Maybe that changes in the bowl game. Up to this point, you don't move Isaiah Mosey to running back because he was at a different position, and then all of a sudden he's number 2. Now he's going to start because Emmett's gone. To me, that speaks highly of what they think of Isaiah, but not a lot of confidence at this point in time just yet. Young, talented running back room, and not yet. It also speaks to how much do you think you can develop at least one of them going into next year. We need a portal running back, at least one, if not two. Probably at least a wide receiver. Maybe you look at the tight end position, maybe you don't. I say Carter Nelson, Luke Lindenmeyer, battle it out. One of you two's got to take a gigantic leap next year. You got to bring in at least one offensive tackle, and that's even if you trust, and Elijah looked pretty good back half of the year. But even Gunner, even if you trust them both, you still need depth. Guards, they're both gone. You trust Justin Evans. It seems like people think highly of Elijah Pritchett at this point, or at least much, much better than initially thought of at the start of the year, where he was third string, but he was much more consistent the back half of the year. But you still need guys to compete for a starting spot with Gunner. Depth pieces, if nothing else. And also, you got two guards that are gone. What about depth pieces there? Now, you got Preston Tamua coming up. You got Grant Bricks. They're freshmen. Matt Rule said they weren't even close to being ready to play. That's me paraphrasing. They weren't ready to play yet. Weren't even close. They weren't ready to play yet earlier this year, so they were never in the conversation. Can they make a leap to next year to being in the competition battle for starting, or are they a year away? There's nothing wrong with being a year away from that. They're still underclassmen. If you come in and you're really good starters as juniors and seniors, which they would be 2 years from now, hey, I can live with that. As long as you're still here and you get to that point. That used to be the way of Nebraska football in large part. Get them young, work them hard, get strong in the weight room, get better over time. And even if you were just a senior, like look at Bullocks. He played a couple of years as a linebacker after being a walk-on wide receiver, but it was really his senior year when he took over. Now he's a bona fide NFL player. John Bullock. So I'm okay with that. But what about next year? Next year's kind of a big year. I don't want to feel the entire next year like a lot of fans feel about the bowl game, which isn't a lot of optimism. Now, anything can happen. Let's be real. Anything can happen. I don't want to feel like that all offseason and going into next year. So if you're like, hey, TJ, we can develop him enough he can at least be average. Maybe you think he can be really good next year. 2 years from now, I don't have a whole lot of doubts where he can be. I think he can be really freaking good 2 years from now. That allows you to spend a lot of money elsewhere. Either way, you're going to need to bring in another quarterback. Now, maybe that quarterback is an older vet with a low floor, not necessarily a high ceiling. In other words, a great backup to compete with Marcos for the 2 spot. The other way you can look at, and then you got to go get guys on defense. You got to make some moves in the portal. You can't bring in a 10-person high school recruiting class unless you basically retain your entire roster and bring in big pieces from the portal. Because even so Rule a couple of weeks ago said he doesn't expect many starters. And again, he treated Raiola like an outlier that day in the press conference, or at least the way the questions were asked to him. Because he was asked that, then he was asked about Raiola. So it was almost like it was separate. What else is new? But he also said he didn't expect a lot of the top depth pieces, backups to be going in. But then Dannon the other night, Troy Dannon mentioned that guys are going to go in the portal. Well, we know that. So maybe that's flipped. Maybe that's changed since then. Who are those guys? Are they the non-depth, non-starter pieces? That's cool. Are some of those guys now expected to go? We don't know. If you think TJ's the guy, then you've got a lot more money to spend elsewhere. You don't have to spend as much money on the portal quarterback you bring in. It's a bit riskier. Winning and losing football games starts in the trenches, but let's not overlook the quarterback position. Let's not overlook the quarterback position. It may start in the trenches, especially in the Big Ten. My God, how many times has Iowa and Wisconsin beaten us with average quarterback play? But you hear what I said? Average. You got to be at least average next year. TJ has a well above average ceiling. It's through the roof. But what's he going to be next year? The other approach you can take is you bring in someone who's a clear-cut starter. And you say, TJ, because you might look at TJ and you might look at him a little bit differently and say, well, he's not going to go to another Power 4 school and just know for sure he's going to start right away. He might earn the job. He doesn't know, so why would he leave here? We can give him a decent chunk of change, make sure he stays. Doesn't have to be crazy through the roof. Because he may not be able to just walk in anywhere else and be known as the starter. He'd have to earn it there either way. So why not stay here, give him a little more change, keep him here, and bring in a guy, whether it's Bo Prabula. That's why it kind of stuck out to me. Plus, it just happened this morning. It's announced he's plans to enter the portal. Again, a guy who's won as a starting quarterback in the Big Ten, in the SEC, at home, on the road, multiple games. I'm not saying he's an All-American. I'm saying wherever he goes, people are going to be like, yeah, it's going to be our starter for a year. And you could say, hey, we're going to bring in a bona fide starter. TJ, if you beat him out, no problem. You're welcome to beat him out. We'd love that. If he wins, we'd love that too. We don't care. One of you two wins. Marcos Devia's got a factor in here somewhere as well. The reason I asked if Bo was a junior or senior, because if that guy's a junior, I think TJ is more likely to hit the portal. If he's a senior, it's not hard to sell TJ, hey, battle with him for a year. If you win the job, awesome. If you don't, hey, he's wink, 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 wink. He's gone in a year. You're picking up what I'm putting down. He's gone in a year. The job should be yours to have. So that's another way to look at it. Another way to look at it is you bring in a guy you know is the absolute starter, and you're like, TJ, take a year to learn. Take a year to get better. Pardon me. Use this opportunity. He didn't redshirt last year, which I guarantee was the plan. I don't know if they'd redshirt him, but because you need him to be ready 2 years from now, if that is the plan. There's different ways to look at this. Obviously, math is going to math, and when math maths, you can only spend so much money, even though we have quite a bit. You spend more on the quarterback, there's less to go around elsewhere. So that's why I'm like, we need to talk about TJ. How do we feel about TJ next year? Next year is the key part of that. 2 years from now, if somebody said Matt Rule plans on him being the absolute starter, barring, an unfortunate injury or, whatever, something we don't foresee happening that's very, very surprising, I'd be like, hey, no problem, man. We've seen what he can be versus UCLA. I actually think the second half of Penn State, there was some things that didn't go great from a team perspective as a whole. I actually thought he made some runs, made some plays when the whole team was struggling that night. I'm not going to sit here and say that he set the world on fire, but I was like, man, he showed flashes. My question isn't about TJ LaTeef, isn't about his ability, isn't about high ceiling, low floor. It isn't about that. It's about how consistent do you believe he can be next year? There's that C word that I talk about all the time, Jake. How consistent? Even Dylan Raiola was wildly inconsistent at sometimes. Consistently inconsistent. Game-winning drive versus Maryland. All right. Also, game-winning drive, Northwestern. You can also look at Maryland. Well, we shouldn't have been in that position because he threw 3 picks. So even though there was a clutch performance at the end, there was inconsistency in the middle, which takes mental toughness to bounce back from. Wasn't there 2 quarters? We had like 45 yards worth of sacks on a particular drive versus Michigan State. Wasn't there like 2 quarters where we completed 1 or 2 passes or something against Michigan State, and then we kind of took off in the fourth quarter, won by 11? So my concern isn't the ability, the talent, the ceiling. It's the floor next year when it comes to TJ and the consistency. What can we get out of him consistently? And that's going to affect how I look at TJ and who we do or don't bring in. You got to bring in at least 1 portal quarterback, at least 1 portal running back, at least probably 1 portal offensive tackle, probably a couple of guards, at least 1 wide receiver, and that's the offensive side of the ball. Who's going to be our long snapper next year, by the way? Kevin Galick's a senior, or is he one of those guys that gets to be a senior 5 times that I'm jealous and confused by? Anything else here? Any other thoughts? I've tried to go quickly because we got other stuff planned for other segments. Is there anything I missed? What are your thoughts? What's the text line say here, Jake?
Well, I think it's interesting, especially when you're looking at potentially making that, with TJ LaTeef. It's just, who are you going to bring in and what does that mean as far as competition? In my mind, I wouldn't necessarily love Bo Prabula. I think, like you said, he's a guy that started games in the SEC and in the Big Ten. But what's Nebraska's problem been recently? Winning games in October, November. Final 4 games down the stretch, or what is this? 5 games, actually. He had 0 touchdown passes and 4 interceptions. Now, he did have an injury midseason. But you just kind of look at him. He had 1 pass over 30 yards all year long. Is kind of mobile, can make some throws. And again, maybe that's what you're looking for. But in total, 11 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. If you're going to do that, I'd say just go with TJ LaTeef. Because I wouldn't bring him in and worry about, because I think you're almost setting up, even if you did go with Pribula at the beginning of the year, it's like as soon as he struggles, everybody's going to be calling for TJ.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you necessarily want that necessarily to be there. So I think it is. I think Nebraska needs to add a veteran quarterback. I love TJ LaTeef too, but it's year 4. I think that you got to do something. I mean, if you're starting a sophomore quarterback, getting a new offensive line, getting a new defensive line, getting a new defensive coordinator, getting a new running back, that's a rebuilding year. I don't think year 4 can be a rebuilding year for Nebraska. So in my opinion, I need them to go out there and get somebody that clearly should be able to come in and start over TJ LaTeef. If you can't do that, then throw out what I just said. I wouldn't bring somebody in to mix it in with TJ LaTeef. Compete, sure, but not maybe at that level of maybe a guy like transfers from Old Dominion, North Texas. Give them more of a shot up. I think Bo Pribula is kind of proven in what he is at this point.
All right, you've convinced me. Bo Pribula is awful. He's terrible.
He's not awful.
I don't even want him in this conversation. No, I'm just kidding. I'll be honest with you. I had not followed him all the way to that depths. I don't had his name just entered this morning. I would have done more recon as time went along. But you've educated me enough. I'm now completely off the Bo Pribula train.
Well, I'm only bringing up the negatives. He was 30 of 39 for 334 yards.
Oh, now you're going to sell me on it
against Kansas. So I'm saying it's he's going to be a starter somewhere.
Dude, you're like an agent negotiating with a team.
I just don't think I would want to bring in somebody that's at that kind of level. That's in between what I'm looking for, which is either somebody that can start over TJ LaTeef, or somebody that can compete.
Competition
to move him up.
Competition.
Yeah, but I think that Bo Pribula would have at some point struggled. I just feel like you're asking for quarterback controversy.
All right, he's back on my top 10 sheet. You've convinced me.
There we go.
I don't know enough about him to have a strong opinion. I know it's so weird. I know we got to go to break. I will go quickly here. What I don't want to do, I don't want to pay a guy $4 million for a 13-9 record, 6-9 in the Big Ten, back-to-back bowl trips, but 1.8 to 1 touchdown interception ratio. I'm not going to say who that was. You might be able to pick up what I'm putting down. That's what I don't want to do. Here's what I actually like the idea of. And I don't know the way that they're looking at it. I have not asked. I have not inquired. I would look at like an NFL team would look at it. I would look at TJ LaTeef like one of my top draft picks. Like we just took him first round, second round. That's how I'd look at this. Well, anytime an NFL team takes a quarterback with a high ceiling, low floor, who's young, very talented, you think highly of, you got big plans for him in the future. What does the other top quarterback on that roster always look like 9 times out of 10? It's an older veteran with a low floor. Doesn't have to be a low ceiling, but probably a low ceiling. And what happens is they compete with each other for the job. Maybe the older guy with more experience starts, and as the year goes along, you kind of know what's going to happen. Eventually, the younger guy, they're grooming him to be ready to be the starter. And at some point that happens. That's actually the way I think they should go. Do what the NFL does. Treat TJ LaTeef like that young guy with a bright future you just drafted. Bring in an older veteran with a low floor. So he's not going to make, let's just say it, game manager, lots of experience. And whenever TJ's ready, maybe it's game 4, game 2, game 8, he eventually takes over. And that allows you to at least have average quarterback play until your young stud is ready to take off. And then you don't have to spend a ton of money on that guy. Some, because he's going to start for you for at least to start the year. And then you can spend a bunch of money everywhere else. And you're set up for the future. And it's an easy sell to TJ. Hey, he's here to help you learn. If you beat him out in the beginning, great. If not, at some point, we're just waiting for you to take the job next year. That's an easy sell. You got a starter at the beginning. You got a starter along the way. It's much easier to keep TJ around, and you can put a bunch of pieces around him through spending money in the portal. Did I just solve world peace or what?
You might have, but this is a question I've been asking a lot of people with the way you set that up. Is next year a rebuilding year then for Nebraska? That sounds like a rebuilding. That's
actually a perfect question because we're 8 minutes late going to break. So we're going to go to break. One of us talked way too much, Adam. We're going to go to break, and that is a perfect question to discuss when we come back, and we'll play Troy Dannon's clip. Don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back.
When equipment breaks down and operations come to a halt, every single second counts. So why is your maintenance team spending 60% of their time doing anything but turning wrenches? MaintainX is the AI-powered maintenance and asset management system that helps your team get back to actually fixing breakdowns. No more searching for manuals. No more hunting down parts. No more drowning in paperwork. With Maintain X, your team can access manuals from anywhere, create new procedures in minutes, and turn voice notes into clear and complete work order feedback. What used to take hours now only takes minutes. Keep your operations moving, not your paperwork. Join over 11,000 maintenance teams that are already fixing more and filing less. Try Maintain X for free today. Go to maintainx.com/AI. That's maintain in the letter x.com/AI.
Winter is just around the corner. Is your vehicle ready? Don't get left out in the cold. At A1 Automotive, we prep your car for whatever winter throws your way here in Nebraska. For battery checks, brake inspections, tires, heaters, whatever your car needs to keep you and your family safe on the road, we've got you covered. A1 Automotive, always honest answers.
Are you tired of your usual barbershop experience? Stop into Scissors and Scotch today. I know what you're thinking. Drink during a haircut? Don't worry. First comes the precision cut from one of their experienced barbers, followed by your complimentary cocktail in their upscale lounge. Scissors and Scotch blends your old school barber feel with your favorite watering hole. And now you can earn $10 off by simply mentioning the ticket. And if you're an existing member, still mention the ticket for an exclusive offer. Offer valid at Lincoln location only. Scissors and Scotch, located just south of 30th and Yankee Hill, and online at lincoln.scissorscotch.com.
This is your year to win way more than bragging rights. At Warhorse Casino, your love of the game could earn you serious cash. The Pro Football Frenzy is free to play with cash prizes all season long, like up to $1,000 weekly, with your chance at $1 million, all while earning tier points and comp points every time you place a sports bet. Only at Warhorse Casino. Wagers may only be placed on Nebraska-based teams when played outside the state of Nebraska. Must be 21 or older to gamble. Gambling problem? Call 1-833-BET-OVER.
Did you know that deer collisions are covered under the comprehensive portion of your car insurance? That means, like with hail damage or vandalism, since they are out of your control, they don't usually raise your insurance rates. And that's a good thing, since most deer don't carry liability insurance. At Eustace Body Shop, we fixed all kinds of animal collision damage, from cows to raccoons, bobcats, and even turkeys. We can't do much for the animal, but we can get your car back on all fours and looking like new again.
The most recommended Eustace Body Shop. That's who we are.
If you're seeking a career with a growing company, Gaina Trucking and Excavating is hiring and looking for additions to their team. Gaina Trucking has a strong team culture, competitive pay, 401ks, and benefits like health, dental, and vision. Drivers are guaranteed 40 hours per week, even in the winter months, and are home every night. Start your career today at Gaina Trucking and Excavating. Apply today at gainatrucking.com.
Hi, my name is Molly Party. I'm a realtor with MP Dodge Real Estate. I'm a newly licensed agent and considered numerous brokerages before deciding on MP Dodge. I chose the company that gives me the most support in my new career, plus guidance and encouragement along the way. MP Dodge has a unique mentoring program for new agents. It's helped jumpstart my career and has a supportive management team and administrative staff. So if you're contemplating a career in real estate, look no further than MP Dodge. It will be the best decision you make.
Mike, the insurance company wants us to replace the roof.
Wait, what? I thought everything was fine.
Yeah, it says right here our roof is too old and they won't be able to cover us anymore.
I guess it is 15 years old. Hi, I'm Austin with Roofing Service Company. We help homeowners with their roofing and siding projects. Financing options are available, and we can get you under a new roof no time at all. If this sounds like you, visit roofingservicecompany.com. That is roofingservicecompany.com.
At Koppel, during the holidays, we take time to cherish our terrific staff, community, and loyal customers that continue to drive that money-saving mile to Louisville, Nebraska. Hi, this is Sean Callahan. I can proudly say I bought my car at Koppel. If you are in the area, I invite you to stop by Koppel Chevrolet GMC's offices in Louisville or check them out online at koppelcars.com. On behalf of Koppel Chevrolet GMC, Merry Christmas and safe travels to all.
At Riddles Jewelry, we know there are moments in life when you realize this is what it's all about. And you wish you could hold on to that feeling forever. This is why we've made jewelry our passion for 65 years. This holiday season, find the perfect gift with savings up to 50%. Riddle's Jewelry. Family owned since 1959.
Located in Lincoln at the Gateway Mall.
This is the Adam Carriker Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Adam Carriker Show here on 93.7 The Ticket. I want to give a shout out to a couple of our good friends. Suizo Concrete Construction is a proud partner with TMCO, a long-standing Lincoln, Nebraska manufacturing company, for the upcoming holiday diaper drive taking place December 19th. TMCO has been a staple in the community for decades, known for its commitment to innovation, quality fabrication, and support of local families. Together, we're excited to support an initiative that directly benefits those in need across our community. The holiday diaper drive will collect diapers, pull-ups, and wipes of any size to support 3 family-centered nonprofit organizations: TMCO Prep Academy, the Nebraska Diaper Bank, and Forward. All right, community members are encouraged to drop off donations to any of the following locations, from White Elm Brewery to Pine Lake Self-Storage. 93.7 The Ticket. That address is 1040 O Street, Suite 100, or Suizo Construction itself, 3700 South Street, Suite A, good old Lincoln, Nebraska. Also, shout out to our good friends at Hamilton Telecommunications, bringing you the latest in quality technology and communication services since 1901. Learn about their residential and business services at hamiltontel.com. Now, the question you posed to me, Jake, before the break, was it rebuilding year? Is that how you phrase year 4 rebuilding year? Is that what you said?
That's what I said. I say that because he got a new defensive line coach, obviously. We'll see that here in a second, but new defense coordinator, new offensive coordinator, new quarterback, new running back who was, your running back was 80% of your rushing yards or whatever it was. I mean, there's a lot of rebuilding going on if it's not a rebuilding year.
There isn't like breaking news that we hired a D-line coach. That was like
No.
Okay, just making sure, because that would be big news. All right. I'm going to say something I don't think people want to hear. I think year 4 may very well be a rebuilding year. It's not what I want. It's not what it should be, frankly. It's frankly not what it should be. All this year 3 jump talk that I said, please stop the entire offseason. Didn't stop, but here we are. It doesn't have to be. Look how quickly some of these programs turn around. Look how quickly from season to season things change sometimes in college football. And sometimes it's like every year you'll see a team that the year before was like, who the heck is this? Oh, all of a sudden Vanderbilt's good. What? All of a sudden this team looks better. All of a sudden Indiana? What? Like, do you know if Indiana played Alabama right now, they'd be a 7.5 point favorite? Think of, let's just let those logos marinate in your mind and which team would be favored. So things can change a lot. Things can change swiftly. We have money to do things in the portal. We did not bring in a lot of high school kids. We are the youngest team in the Big Ten. Retain the young talent. Bring in portal guys who can make immediate impact. Evaluate correctly and develop properly. I yelled because it's supposed to be more emphasis on those things. And you never know what can happen. Now, do I think it's a decent chance that this is a rebuilding year? Yes, I do. I'm wide open to the prospect of having a really good season next year. I also understand that it might be a rebuilding year. Let's just be real. The powers that be went all in on the Raiolas. It did not pay off the way we wanted, and it left us in not as great a state as we would have hoped either. And as a result, I'm being asked by my co-host if it's a rebuilding year. The choice to do that did not work out well. I would venture a guess, it's fair to say, it was not worth the monetary value. It was not worth struggling up front, and it was not worth passing on a really good quarterback prospect in Omaha. Now, looking forward, we are where we are. When Matt Rule signed the extension, the big word I used was stability. Because we can't keep hiring and firing a million head coaches. Apparently we can with coordinators and assistants, but I legit like Jeep Wade. There is a prospective name out there for the D-line coach. We're sitting here waiting. Just so you know, he was never technically fired from Syracuse, just demoted. So maybe that has something to do with it. Maybe there's other factors. But if it's the guy a lot of people have been talking about, he's thought of to be the number 1 D-line coach in the country. There are some upgrades that have been made, and I almost feel like Matt Rule is now doing what he feels is best. And I don't want to say it's ground zero, but it's almost like, to Jake's point and Jake's question, this may be the rebuilding year in year 4 that we don't want to deal with, but it might be better than let's scratch it all and start all over, starting from the top down, because I don't think that's a good idea. Does that make sense so far?
Yeah, I think so.
Looking at next year's schedule, if we're sitting here at 7-5 next year, nobody's going to be happy with that. But I'm going to look around and I'm going to say next year's schedule is probably tougher than this year and last year's combined. And I'm not going to celebrate. I'm not going to jump for joy. But I'm going to look around and I'm going to say 7-5 in year 2 did not excite me as we sit here, right now. But if it's a true rebuilding year, which is a very real possibility, 7-5 with next year's schedule isn't going to have me jumping for joy, but it's going to be like, all right, now let's see what Matt Rule can do. Much later into the tenure than we ever would have liked. Let's play the clip from Dannon. He says a few things in there that are interesting. He also says something in there, just a brief sentence, alluding to it might be a little bit different at Nebraska in the Big Ten than it was at Temple or Baylor. That's not taking shots at the AAC or the Big 12 or Baylor or Temple. It just is what it is. Go ahead and roll it. There's other things in this clip as well, but go ahead, Jake.
All right, yeah, this is Billy Shimmert of KET Channel 7 with Troy Dannon.
What game? Did he have your full support in those? Talking about Coach Rule, he did make some quick decisions after that Iowa game. Did he have your full support in those decisions?
Oh yeah, and you know the last 2 weeks, I've heard our coaches call it embarrassing. You know, those are things that should never happen defensively, and there are a lot of reasons for it. But you know, sitting on the inside, but yet on the outside, I'm not in the position rooms or anything else. Something was amiss, and needed to be changed. And you know, he credit to him that he was willing to make those changes. I think just as important to the willingness to make the changes and was his ability to go out and find people outside of his circle of relationships that now that he's been here 3 years, knowing exactly what we need to have, what's lacking in the Big Ten, what do we need to do versus maybe what he did at Baylor or Temple or even at Carolina.
From your chair, what do you think went wrong at the end of the season?
College football is not just a scheme game. You know, we don't have professionals, and you know, because we're paying players, that doesn't make them professionals. They're still college students. They're learning, they motivate differently, but you have to tailor a scheme to your players and not demand that the players fit into a scheme sometimes that maybe doesn't fit them. And there's a relational aspect. You know, you're not always going to love your coach, but you got to respect your coach, and you got to have coaches that you know the players are going to fight for and run through a wall for because they care about the relationship. I care a lot about how the players are treated. You know, it's rough sometimes in a locker room, but it can't be personal. And so you see a lot of things that said we're not really there. How do we use the players we have? You know, we had 2 great interior linemen last year. Seniors have been around a long time. We had a young interior line. How do we adjust the scheme to the player? And I think that was part of it. You know, I hate to use the word quit, but, you know, we didn't play defensively with the intensity level that we had. But, you know, you don't always blame that on the player either.
A lot of what I heard right there was you could sum up a lot of that in people. It's about people. It's about the people coaching. It's about the people playing. It's about the people evaluating the people you do or don't bring in. It's about the people developing the people that you do decide to bring in, how well those people ultimately end up playing on the field. To me, it all comes back to people. X's and O's matter. If you flat out have a schematic advantage over somebody else, that's a huge thing. But if you're he said, I don't want to use the word quit. And Matt Rule talked in multiple press conferences, like they were not out there playing at their best mentally. They were not out there playing at their best physically. Troy Dannon even said some of them have called it embarrassing. It comes back to people. If you have an exponential people advantage in business, people, process, product. I know this isn't a business show, but people are first. People, process, product. My degree is in business. I do a lot of things in business. People, process, product. In sports, it's about people first. Then you have the facilities. The people who fill the stands for, 405 straight home games over 6 decades now, I think, since the 60s, 62, I think it started. The home sellout streak, it's about the people and getting that right. Now, he said it in different ways, and there was other things he talked about, but that was my biggest takeaway. We got to go to break. You got any thoughts on that real quick as well, Jake?
Man, well, I was kind of surprised by the John Butler news, and you think initially he fell on, I think at times it feels like he fell on the sword there. But again, I think it got to the point of motivationally, was he there? And then I always go back to that talk about not taking Minnesota seriously from whichever assistant was in the room. And then after the game, of course, Coach Rule also said Butler coached a vanilla defense. And so, I kind of go back to that and think, okay, and again, it always has to go back to the head coach. Did the head coach throw off the confidence level of the defensive coordinator, and then that have a kind of a snowball effect toward the end of the season? Could have been. And maybe, again, it's just interesting to hear like Dannon say that. We saw that from a mile away. Everybody said, yeah, you're not going to do much. You're not going to have the same interior linemen, but you asked Butler to run the 3-3-5 with the same, so again, I don't know where the ultimate fault goes. I know John Butler better cover his ears because he's definitely fallen on the sword of getting a lot of the blame. But man, it's I'm not sure if it was all a one-man problem. Maybe it was. I could be wrong.
That Minnesota game bothers me like no other. This is me giving grace. All right. Penn State, it was TJ's first big-time road game. UCLA is not a big-time road game, not the atmosphere. I called it Lincoln West, if you remember afterwards. Okay. And then Iowa, we were 17-16 for Torres hamstring. Like, I'm trying to give grace here. Those games were not good. I'm like, all right, let's find the positive. I can find zero positive in Minnesota. Zero positive in assistant coaches who weren't ready to coach. Zero positive when it's 7-6 at halftime and the coach says the players are hanging their heads and they're wondering why it's not easier and they basically quit. Like, I find zero positives in that. And to your point, that game bothers me like no other because it was purely a mental game. That is set from the person at the top. And again, we need Matt Rule to work out. I do think he's done a lot of good things. I do, in his career as a whole, I do think he's a good coach. I'm curious to see what he can do going forward. It needs to work with Matt Rule. I am glad we have stability and he's the guy that's providing stability at the moment. But going forward, it's time to see what Matt Rule can do. And it starts with the person at the top, because why did those players expect it to be easy? Where's that attitude come from? Why were the coaches not in the right mindset? Why at halftime did they not come out fighting in the second half like Minnesota did? That game was won and lost in the offseason. That game was won and lost in winter conditioning, in spring ball, in summer conditioning. That game was won and lost in meetings. That game was won and lost way before they ever took one step out on that field. The attitude and the thoughts and the culture that permeate throughout a football facility are set from the folks at the top. Who's held accountable? Who gets to play victim? Who's willing to push through, and who gets their hand held when it gets hard? And when does that start? It starts first thing every morning. It starts January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, all the way through. Every morning. There needs to be a different approach to building mental toughness, starting from the top down. Let's go to break.
Make Hog Wild the centerpiece of your holiday meal. Pre-order a 4-pound boneless ham for $50, a 12-pound whole smoked turkey, or a 4-pound turkey breast for $55. A complete meal includes your choice of a whole turkey or turkey breast, mashed potatoes and gravy, stuffing, green beans or corn, and a dozen rolls for $130. Pre-order online at GoHogWild.com soon. Quantities are limited. All weights are approximate before cooking. Hog Wild Pit Barbecue, Lincoln.
But don't be late, we close at 8.
If one of the things running through your mind as a business owner is the recurring worry of possible cyber attacks, you can let out a sigh of relief. Hamilton Business Technologies has you covered. As the official business IT partner of the Huskers, we offer real-time threat monitoring, advanced security protocols, and more to keep your data safe from harm. We care about the success of Nebraska businesses and communities like yours. Learn how we can help you at HamiltonIsBusiness.com.
Are you ready to make a difference this holiday season? Schwezo Construction and TMCO are hosting a diaper drive December 5th through the 19th. They're collecting diapers, pull-ups, and wipes to benefit TMCO Prep Academy, the Nebraska Diaper Bank, and Forward. Drop off your donations at Schwezo Construction, 93.7 The Ticket, Pine Lake Self-Storage, or White Elm Brewery. Together, we care for our community. For more information, please visit Schwezo Construction's website or Facebook page today.
Winter is just around the corner. Is your vehicle ready? Don't get left out in the cold. At A1 Automotive, we prep your car for whatever winter throws your way here in Nebraska. For battery checks, brake inspections, tires, heaters, whatever your car needs to keep you and your family safe on the road, we've got you covered. A1 Automotive, always honest answers.
At Parkview Animal Hospital in Lincoln, it's not just their professional care that sets them apart, but their warm staff and state-of-the-art facilities. Whether it's for a routine checkup or a comprehensive medical procedure, at Parkview, your pet isn't just another number, but a valued member of their caring family. Visit them at pahlincoln.com today and in person just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Parkview Animal Hospital, your pet, their passion for happier, healthier, furry friends.
When it comes to keeping your equipment running, you've got options at Landmark Implement. Whether you need premium John Deere parts or a more economical solution, A&I parts from Landmark deliver the dependable performance you can count on with cost savings up to 40%. From filters and bearings to belts and everyday repairs, A&I parts are built to work as hard as you do while helping stretch your budget further. Stop by your local Landmark Implement parts counter today or shop online anytime at shop.deere.com and experience the Landmark difference.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Infrastructure, a veteran-owned local company proudly serving Lincoln, Lancaster County, and the surrounding areas. Bauer provides quality work at an affordable price, and they're growing rapidly. If you want to experience a career with a fast-paced, family-friendly environment, visit BauerInfrastructure.com. They have top-of-the-line benefits, year-round work, even through the winter. Bauer, usher in the new era of infrastructure to an area near you. And as always, go Big Red!
Did you know that deer collisions are covered under the comprehensive portion of your car insurance? That means, like with hail damage or vandalism, since they are out of your control, they don't usually raise your insurance rates. And that's a good thing, since most deer don't carry liability insurance. At Eustace Body Shop, we fixed all kinds of animal collision damage, from cows to raccoons, bobcats, and even turkeys. We can't do much for the animal, but we can get your car back on all fours and looking like new again.
The most recommended Eustace Body Shop. That's who we are.
Hey Husker Nation, this is Todd Euler, two-time national champion, here to talk to you about Window World Lincoln. At Window World, we specialize in replacement windows, doors, siding, and roofing. Whether you're looking to enhance the beauty of your home or increase its energy efficiency, we've got you covered. And here's the best part. We offer the best for less. Our team is dedicated to providing top quality products and exceptional service at affordable prices. We want to earn your business and make your home improvement dreams a reality. So why wait? Contact Window World Lincoln today at 464-7313 or visit our website at WindowWorldLincoln.com. Window World Lincoln, where quality meets affordability.
Time for a new heating and cooling system? Get the options, brand, and efficiency that best fits your family and your home. Call Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
For remote starters, audio upgrades, and more, there's only one place to go. Auto Sounds of Lincoln at 48th and up.
This is the Adam Carriker Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Boom! I slightly missed that, but I came close enough as well. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I talked way too much. We will get to the Joel Klatt clip tomorrow. Just, tomorrow's show is going to be about toughness. I already have the headline. I just told Jake, I've already got it texted to myself. I'm going to copy paste, send it to him tomorrow. It's about why isn't Nebraska played tougher? I have a clip from PJ frickin' Fleck I'm going to play. Could you believe that when I sent it to you, by the way?
I was surprised. Yeah, I was surprised to see it.
It made sense, though. I don't care who it is. It made sense. Also, Nick Saban, someone else we actually want to hear from. And then it's college football playoff talk all day tomorrow. It's college football playoff. Why isn't Nebraska play tougher? How do they do so going forward? Any final thoughts? We got about 90 seconds. I feel like we're ahead of schedule now. We got like 90 seconds. Any final thoughts before we get out of here, Jake?
Yeah, let's go to the jump line, get a few thoughts there. Bone67 says it's Nebraska. They've been rebuilding since Bo Pelini. So that's his thoughts there. Scott in Stonebreak Creek says 7-5 will be a blessing next year.
I do think the bar's been lowered for next year. Yeah. I think the bar was lowered so high this offseason. Again, just don't shorten your own honeymoon period. I've said it 1,000 times, okay? It was so high. Now next year it's going to be so low because it's so much more challenging. I don't know. Maybe that's a blessing. Because I would be like 7-5 next year. I'm not jumping for joy, but I'm like, okay. That's a lot better than 7-5 this year. Anything else?
1562 says you said it, Adam, when we watch this program not show up for 2 to 3 games a year, you know that's happening in practice too. The program is complacent and entitled. It has to stop.
Well, I'm not going to argue. Matt Rule flat out used the word entitlement. He's sick of the entitlement after the Minnesota game. So, and I apologize. We were going to give away free stuff, and I talked too much. But don't worry. If you stay tuned for Bach in the Black Shirt, Jake gets to be the good guy. I'll be the heel. He gets to give away free stuff on the next show. I'll try to. No, I'm not going to talk less tomorrow. I'll try to talk faster so we can give away free stuff. I don't know if we'll do that. I don't think I can talk faster. Ladies and gentlemen, have a glorious day. Enjoy the wind. Oh, I wanted to make the terrible joke of it blows. I'm not going to, though. If my 8-year-old was here, I would have, and she would have laughed. But we try to be adults and smarter than the average dumb guy. All right, don't go anywhere. Bach in the Black Shirt. Free stuff. Till tomorrow. Go Big Red. And always remember, throw them bones.
When we're building homes for people, we're really trying to advise on the things that are going to create value so that when they go to sell it, they're going to have equity so that they can go build their second home.
Bob Benish is the founder and president of Aspen Builders, online at aspenbuildersinc.com.
You know, the year has been a great year for Aspen Builders. We have had many repeat customers. We've been very blessed with great office staff, with great employees, and great subcontractors. We worked with a lot of new people building their dream home. We've built some great relationships. A lot of those relationships will continue. We'll be building them another new home down the road. So I'd like to take this time to wish all of our past customers and our future customers a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Make your dream a reality and call Aspen Builders at 423-6811. Online at aspenbuildersinc.com. Your dream home is waiting at Aspen Builders.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet, KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
At Koppel, during the holidays, we take time to cherish our terrific staff, community, and loyal customers that continue to drive that money-saving mile to Louisville, Nebraska. Hi, this is Sean Callahan. I can proudly say I bought my car at Koppel. If you are in the area, I invite you to stop by Koppel Chevrolet GMC's offices in Louisville or check them out online at koppelcars.com. On behalf of Koppel Chevrolet GMC, Merry Christmas